Happy Friday. I'm doing better. I haven't thrown up since yesterday midday, so that's a good sign. It means that I'm rehydrating after several days of throwing up. So I'm gonna try and eat today. I haven't eaten in a little over a week. So the scale should be interesting. But I just wanted to get something out there. I don't think I can do a live just yet because I'm still not 100%, right? But let's have coffee with Chantal. I know this is from yesterday morning, but I'm just catching up, you guys.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Let me just give you a little bit of behind the scenes here, because this video went up later than normal. A lot of times with Chantal, I'll recap a 2 to 3 hour stream in 8 minutes. There's not much to it. This live stream, my goodness, there was a lot to it. Chantal contradicts herself. She exposes Salah. She comes out with the truth about Thailand. There is so much, more so about income in this stream that just, to me, validates. Number one, a lot of the community is right with the things they say. And number two, Chantal simply never, ever learns. Now, the most comical part of this for me is as she's leaving, she sees these Mercedes-Benz trash trucks, and she doesn't understand. She almost projects as if these are luxury trash trucks. She just cannot compute that these are commercial applications. And to me, it shows how little she gets out. How long have Sprinter vans been around? Years, probably a decade. And Chantal just completely oblivious to these things. She said she's rewatched some of her streams and
Well, Chantal, my guess is that you don't actually look at trash trucks, right? You don't get out there, you're not inspecting them. So when you walk by a fleet that is made from the commercial side of Mercedes-Benz, you're just blown away. I think most car companies have additional sides to their business, but they're called lines of business. But okay, all right.
Understands how people can get motion sickness based on her swaying. She's done some research and feels safe going back to Starbucks today. And she admits she's been not doing very well with the treadmill, with the diet. So she just wants to go out. She wants to be alone. Julia's just fine. We get a Julia update at the end of this. And she walks to the Starbucks, which seems like about a quarter mile away. She, of course, starts talking about reaction channels while she struggles to get up curbs.
The curb is about, it looks like it's about half the size of a normal curb. So it really shouldn't be that challenging. And I mean, even for me with my leg injury and my disability, I would just take it slow, right? Make sure my footing is right and push myself up on the other leg.
She talks about how on the 10th and 11th they're going to go out camping, which seems odd. You would think they would plan that around Julia's surgery, but I digress. When she gets into the Starbucks, the lady asks how she's doing at the counter. Chantal responds, out of shape. She then orders the coffee, runs directly to the bakery case. She has to mute for a very long time because of music. She kind of films people going in and out. At this point, the chat starts to get on her about her sugar intake, and after a few sips, she says it's just simply not sweet enough. She also believes that a rock band walks in, and she tries to engage with them, talk with them, and they flat out ignore her. She pretends that they must have assumed she was talking on the phone. Not logical. And this, of course, launches her into this tirade about labeling people by race. And she, again, never learns. She breaks this up by going to have them make the coffee sweeter for her. And when she comes back, she starts to discuss and defend something she has no knowledge of, no understanding of. And you would think, after what happened with Cyrex, that would have taught her a lesson. She would be very cautious about the things she defends. Yet here she is, going over this creator. I believe her name is Tapichu. And she talks about how this person must have been, quote, exposed for clout on TikTok. And the chat pushes back against her. And they say, listen, this person, they trashed a hotel room. They deserve to be called out for this. And Chantal argues with them that that's not true. The person filming this monetized their channel, so they shouldn't be trusted. They said they're going to...
You trashed your hotel room in Thailand. And I do not believe for a second that you got your deposit back. I think you were charged additional for what you did to that room.
Give the money to charity, and they're probably not. She tries to correlate this to people laughing at her.
Circling back to the fact that she wanted to talk to the white people, and she called them whiteys, which, you know, a lot of people took offense to, because it is racist to do that. I'd like to also point out that Kalari did her final bonnet chronicles yesterday and spent a good amount of time raging about Gen X white women who she believes are responsible for Harris's loss on Tuesday. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, Kalari. That is not what happened. Gen X is the smallest generation sandwiched between the boomers and the millennials. We are the smallest generation. Okay? And I don't know the statistics, and neither do you, on how white women in the Gen X category voted. So don't be spewing out misinformation. This also makes it hard for me to believe that you said that you phone banked and you text banked. With an attitude like that, I think that whichever organization you were working with, you would have been dismissed. But I don't believe that you actually phone banked or text banked, because you just drop that I did this. What, like 2 days after the election you said this, despite the fact that I've been asking for weeks, what were you doing directly to reach voters aside of harassing people on Twitter? And we finally got our answer 2 days after the election. If you had really been doing those things, you are so long-winded that you would have gone into all kinds of details about what it was like, about what your script looked like, about how fast the phone banking goes, about, you know, how fast the text banking goes. You would have been able to describe it. But you didn't. You just threw another lie out there because that's how you roll.
Her, laughing at her failures. She says this person is now being harassed the same way she is. That the person filming all this should just grow up, do their job, and clean the room. Chantal, again, you don't educate yourself enough on these things to have a proper opinion, and your chat was warning you to stop talking. This is identical, carbon copy of what happened with Cyrex. I don't get it. You watch way too much TikTok, and then you come online pretending you know what you're talking about, and even when the people there to support you tell you you're not, you keep going. She's also not wearing her ring. Now, I mentioned earlier, we started to talk about income, and the first talk of income is when she starts to try to transition into a politics.
Maybe she's hoping the dad channel will cover her again.
The chat tells her not to, and she's really just trying to find a way to get the conversation over to demographics, because she claims, 65% of her audience is US, 9% are Canadians, and she talks about getting some sponsorship emails that she didn't even know she was getting. She normally doesn't read them, but this one wanted Chantal to market something, but apparently her demographics, 25 to 39, and being only 9% in Canada, those don't qualify for her to have this sponsorship. So, as I mentioned, she kind of exposes herself during this because she says, 1% of my audience is 80 or older. So someone in the chat says, oh, that must be Tea and Sass. So she takes that and she goes, oh, well, I was checking on her channel the other day to see if she was talking about me. Chantal, that's so strange. You never watch reaction channels, remember? So why would you just happen to stumble over to someone's channel who hasn't talked about you for probably months? And in watching the content, so Chantal realizes, hey, this person's not talking about me, but let me watch some of their content. And she says that she felt it was, quote, cute that she was out visiting her husband's grave. Again, Chantal, none of that needed to be said. She said she might go live later. She doesn't. Julia's out of heat, not crying anymore. And of
course you watch all of our channels. You take things from my channel, direct quotes.
course, while sitting there, she gets hungry. She wants a sandwich. She's not going to have to make lunch for Salah because he's going out to look at the camping plots. And she said when they go camping, she's going to be going live a lot. They need company. They need something to entertain them. And of course, the only thing we learned that's entertaining to her is going on live. She goes over all the ways that she can't be paying for the apartment, how Salah and her are married, how he proved that he has a job and she does as well, and they're doing very well. And she said she doesn't look around the internet to see what people are saying, despite having just admitted that she did that with Tea and Sass. And she says, this is her real life. People can think what they want. Everyone just wants her to rage. She says if she can have less stress, that's perfect. And she can keep her little internet corner positive. She then goes on about FFG's hands and a live stream she did 2 years ago. She goes over how FFG won't cam up. And she goes back to how she has to be married to live in that building. And she goes back, of course, to how FFG has BBJ, comparing her life to Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And then she says everything just gets twisted into something it's not. Chantal, to the point I just made, not everything gets twisted into something it's not. So many times you come online and you don't understand or comprehend the gravity of what you're saying. You can't keep track with what you've made up before, which we're going to learn in just a moment. And then all of a sudden, you get this tidal wave of reality that you want to sit there and say came from nowhere. To that point, she talks about Pete's. And she gets this anniversary chat, which Chantal does not even understand, was completely trolling. It went over both dates. And she said they're just going to celebrate it on the 11th. She also talks about being a Muslim later on and how she wishes Pete's would hurry up and transition because it's impacting their ability to be friends. Very self-centered, Chantal. Imagine telling someone to hurry up.
Well, also, I'm confused why you keep saying him, he, him. Has Pete's not asked you to use different pronouns by now? If Pete's is not fully transitioned yet, I would imagine they fall under non-binary. Right? Maybe learn a thing or two about what's going on with people around you and the LGBTQIA community. God, you're so insensitive to so many topics.
and transition so that I can have a friend back. I thought you had all these friends, Chantal. Of course she wants to travel, though. She goes back to reaction channels, but has to use the bathroom. And she mutes the phone. She takes us into the bathroom. She leaves the phone muted for a very long time because she wants to order snacks and sandwiches. She gets this turkey and cheese roll. She screams about how fresh and how creamy it is, while admitting it tastes like ham, turkey ham. She says this video proves that she can go out whenever she wants, that the relationship might not be perfect, but she still has freedom. And they're going to be travel vloggers. She was watching a couple's channel and learned all the mistakes they made. She's been watching more channels, and she wants to go parasailing. She asks what the weight limit is. Chantal, simple Google search, 300 pounds. Any small amount of searching would have yielded that result for you.
So that's a big no. Sweetheart. Yeah, that's a big no. And you've been powering through your snacks too. You know why people are thin? They don't eat like that. You are counting calories. So each time that you eat something like a little bag of Doritos or a few Chips Ahoy, those come out of what your goal is for your daily calorie goal. And they're empty calories. They have no nutritional value. So it's worthless to eat those things. Period. You have to do better planning on this diet.
After she eats, of course, she said she's not feeling well. And she turns this all into how she can't go anywhere without being overwhelmed by food. Chantal, you couldn't walk a quarter mile without ordering a sandwich. It's not anything to do with travel.
I decided to order custom temporary face tattoo.
And this, of course, brings up the, quote, real tea when it comes to Thailand. And Chantal knows. We never saw her get out of that boat. So, according to Chantal, and just for the record, I completely believe everything of this story. This I truly believe is what happened. According to Chantal, two men had to help her out of the boat, and they touched her to do this, and that Salah felt disrespected, that they did not wait for him to get out to help her. So, from the sounds of this, they're both in the boat. We know that to be true. Salah got in on the right side, so he boarded and went all the way to the right. Chantal to the left. So it's natural that's going to inverse when they go to get off. I'm sure he never planned this out, nor did she. Who would? Who plans on how to get out of a boat with multiple people helping you? No one. So clearly when they return, the park workers come out to help Chantal. And they quickly realize, hey, it's going to take more than one of us. Props to them for actually respecting their customer when we know their customer.
Yeah, Salah, that was a dick move. That situation is going to happen once in a while. I had a leg collapse at the San Clemente Pier while my boyfriend was pulling up the car and walking towards me. But before he even got to me, two hot surfers grabbed my arms and pulled me up. And I didn't look at them. My boyfriend told me that they were hot. I was just so embarrassed I didn't want to look up, but I was saying thank you, you know. Seriously. And Chantal, if he was that sensitive to that situation, how do you think he would have felt if he saw this video and he made a point of calling to and then talking to two white men from wherever they were from, whether they were visiting or on a business trip or they actually live there. But choices, girl, right? You obviously still in a fight with the law and trying to push his buttons.
For sure doesn't respect them. So apparently all of this gets filmed. And Sala, during editing, tells her not to include it. So there's the truth. That's why we never saw her get out of the boat. And she tries to paint this, oh, you saw me in the tuk-tuk. I don't care how I look. Chantal, you needed 2 people to help you get out of the boat. And your husband got mad that he couldn't be there to help you. I guess he didn't want to push you from behind. I don't know. But enough with the whole, I'm proud of myself. I don't have any shame. Listen, if you don't have shame and it takes 2 people to get you out of a boat, that's on you. And I promise you're the only one feeling that way. She says, of course, traveling is better with Sala. He takes care of all the planning and all the money. She goes over how being a revert has impacted her, as I talked about, how she can't talk to Pete as much because he's a male, how she isn't the, quote, traditional Muslim, and that Sal and her are always together. He doesn't leave for hours at a time like people say. He really only leaves to take care of Julia. He's self-employed. He can work whenever he wants. He sends her photos all the time when he goes out. And, he also sends videos when he's at the office and the shop. She then mentions, as I said before, some monetization issues. It seems like the couples channel may be losing monetization due to lack of viewers, watch hours. So she starts to talk about how she's going to start using it more, and they may just start going live there. This also, to me, works hand in hand with why she was promoting Sala's gaming channel, how he all of a sudden started gaming again. I think both of those channels probably got put at risk for losing monetization, and they have to scramble now because they can't put in the hard work to make content on more than one channel. Now they have to scramble and try to force feed people over there to kind of save those channels. She, of course, deals with one of the watchers. I'm not going to say abuser. I don't believe it was, but she deals with one of the watchers saying, hey, I don't want to see Sala. She immediately tells him that he can leave. She doesn't care. She compares herself to running her channel like North Korea. And at this point, she elects it's time to walk back home. She shows her feet. She complains she lost all the stamina she built up from walking on the treadmill. She complains about her back hurting. She apologizes for breathing so heavy. When she gets back home, she shows Julia. She has to wipe herself down again. The floor we see is covered in junk food. She admits that she ate the cookies, but Sala ate them too. She only had 3 of them, guys. 3 cookies. Couldn't spare a cookie. She said she should go back to doing accountability checks and then immediately gets into the Doritos. She wants to make it rain on Julia. She wants it to rain dinars. Chantal, why didn't you take care of this animal? Remember, you made it rain on BBJ, right? So now all of a sudden you want to make it rain on Julia, but you couldn't use that money to properly care for the pet. It makes no sense. She, of course, says, oh, she's not flaunting this. They donate money. We just never see it. Sala gives the workers in the apartment money, fragrances.
Okay.
She just ate a whole sandwich, and she keeps eating. She goes through fries, the snack fries, and says, they're baked. They're not fried, so they're okay. She says this is only 250 calories in snacks. She then ends the stream talking about other channels, looking for a fly that came in the room and saying for Christmas they'll likely be in another country. So as I said, there's a lot. Not only is this longer than 8 minutes, it's almost 13, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot more substance there for you to dive into in the comments section, where I here will leave the top comments from the last video, and I cannot wait to see the comments on this one. I appreciate each and every one of you watching this, and just like Chantal, exposing herself and needing 3 people to get her out of a boat, there is no way that I will not be back as soon as I can with more commentary.
Well, thank you for covering this and summarizing it, garlic bread. Like I said, I'm trying to catch up. I have not been feeling well for over a week, but it really hit me over the last few days, and I'm just starting to come out of it. So hopefully I'll get to the point where I can do a live pretty soon, but I'm not there yet, y'all. So thank God it's Friday. Take care, y'all.